Hi ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. What we're going to go over today is a circular arm breakaway. It's a very good technique for all ages, but I especially like it for young ladies and gentlemen because it doesn't take a great deal of strength to be able to get away from somebody. Mrs. Fraley's with me, and let's step right out here just a little bit. If I grab her arm, what I want her to do is go one way first and then the other way 2 or 3 times as she backs up. Come on back in. If I grab her arm, she goes the other way first, it doesn't matter. And 2 or 3 times as she backs up. This is a very basic technique and yet very effective. The fact is, when I grab her, I have other intentions. If somebody grabs a child, they have other intentions about taking them someplace, doing something. So all of my strength is not in this grabbing arm. The fact is that when she moves one way first, like this, my immediate response, whether I want to or not, is to pull her hand back down where I started from because I had other plans. Well, when she does that, I push her arm back down with my strength. I use my own body, all right, to make her arm go back the way it was. At that point, from here to here, I'm helping her get that motion. And as she does that and steps away, my immediate response, which is to grab again, is not possible because they've stepped out of range. All right, come on back in here, Mrs. Fraley. This is called a circular arm breakaway. And one of the really nice factors about it is when somebody is grabbed, when a young adult is grabbed in a crowd or in an area, they're grabbed because at that moment, the perpetrator, this person, doesn't believe anybody can see them based on the angles of buildings or how people are moving. When they back up, they change that. They can be seen differently now. That person that grabbed that child has to reevaluate, can they be seen by somebody now? Here I can't be. All of a sudden I take 4 steps this way. All of a sudden there's people around the corner now that can see me that couldn't see me before. We want that distance, that opportunity for freedom. Let's have some of the boys and girls that are here helping us today demonstrate this technique. I want to move right out there, Courtney and Nick, and go right at it. Oh, nicely done. Move to the back. That was excellent. And when you're working with your son and daughter at home, maybe a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, you want to compliment them. Come on back. Come on out here, Alexa. Okay. Alexa, and move back that way just a little bit. Aiden, go right ahead. All right, all right. Let's have you do it again. I like that. It had a nice flow to it. You did it well. I want you to be stronger this time, more powerful. Can you be more powerful? She goes, did you say yes? Yes. Yes, she did. Okay, do it again. Good girl. He got more powerful though too, didn't he? Yes, he did. Before Whitney does it, and she's brand new to doing this, I want to show you something. That circular arm thing, this locks the elbow. So when my hand comes around, they can't hold on. If I go the other way, this way, it's only their thumb and they can't hold on. So when we're looking at this circle, we free ourselves up simply because the physics of their body doesn't allow them to hold on. Let's start right up here. Whitney and Alex face each other. Alex grabs Whitney. Nicely done, Whitney. Moved right to the back. Alex to the back. Come on in a little tighter, guys. Come on right up here. That circular arm breakaway, it's an excellent technique. Based on the physics of the body, it works for all ages. It's especially worth teaching to your sons and daughters. And we're going to be back with more in just a moment. Right now, we're going to take a second to point out helpers in a store. All right, and when we go to a store, if we get to a big mall or something like that, right, Daniel? We want to know where the helpers are. That's right. Who would be a helper in a store? Whoa, who?
A cashier, sir.
A cashier, very good, Mike. A cashier would be a helper. We have a cash register right here. You look for a cash register. Look for the person that runs the cash register. Normally, the person that runs the cash register is going to have a microphone, so they're going to be able to call to announce that you're there so that we can find your parents, so that you can get back in touch with the people that you got separated from. All right? You just don't accept any stranger that comes up to you and says, "Are you lost? Can I help you? Come with me." Or they say, "Come with me. I know where your parents are. They're looking for you." If you don't know that person, you do not go with that person. You go to a cash register where that person is responsible for what's going on in the store. Who else would be a helper in a store? Well, who? Okay, a police officer in a store is also a helper. Miranda knows sign language, and this is for police officer, and they are helpers in a store also. Just a piece of information I'd like to share, because I've talked to some parents, and as we've talked about it, they agree. One of the phrases you may not want to use when you're trying to keep your son or daughter with you is, "If you get separated from me, I'm going to leave you here." Well, I don't want your son or daughter ever to think that you would. I know that you wouldn't. But if they think it for a moment, a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old, they may drift off figuring you have left the store. And then we may not have it so easy to find them. So let's find another way to try to keep them close to us. And at the same time, let's remind our sons and daughters that police officers are helpers in stores and mall areas. Cashiers are helpers. These are people that can make a difference if you get lost in a big store or mall, right? Yes, all right. And we're going to be back with more information in just a second. Welcome back. And right now what we're going to go over is another teenage escape technique in the first part of this segment of the show. And it's dealing with an arm around the shoulder. If I could have Mr. Stolick come on out. Eric Stolick, we're going to have him put his arm around my shoulder. They're going to bring their arm up like this, okay? Now Carly's going to do this for us in a minute. The arm comes up between the two people. It extends, put palm down. You can rotate your palm up as you step back to free yourself, okay? So let's take a look at it one more time. He's arm around the shoulder, up here, and just like that. Okay, great. Eric, come on out. Carly, come on out. Let's take a look and see what this is going to look like. Get a little closer. I'm going to get off on this side. Now, arm around Carly. Yes, good, and good. And she steps and moves away. Let's take it really slow one time. Go ahead. And what I'm going to have you two do is stop for a minute and turn and face the other wall. Go ahead, put your arm around her shoulder. We have this scenario. The arm comes up. Now, at this point, she has a lot of control about what's going on. This hand really can't get involved, and when she starts to do this freeing up technique, it makes it pretty impossible once her hand is here for him to reach across and use that tool, that weapon. Therefore, as she extends her arm, boom. Now, one more thing to see. From the same angle, facing that way, guys. Thank you. Again, go ahead. Now, at this point, go ahead and do your foot move. You can do this little foot move. It stops them from catching their balance and stumbling back. She's blocking his left leg. Go ahead and excellent. Okay, let's stand up, face the camera, and do it once, power and speed. Come in a little closer, a little more this way. Excellent. Are you ready? Fast and powerful. Oh, come on, come on, come on, back up. Fast and powerful. I don't think you can hurt him like that. Get away, get away. Go, go, go. All right. Oh, yeah, that was better. That was right into the throat. Eric, right here to my right. Carly to my left. When it goes right up into the throat, there's a helpless feeling, because when your head is pushed back like that, you lose sight of everything around you. Your head is looking up. All you're doing is falling. All you're trying to do is catch your balance. It allows the young lady to get away. It frees her up. That's what that technique's for. We're going to be back with another piece of information in just a moment. This piece of information, again, is for our teenagers. Hi, Eric. How you doing?
Good, sir.
Eric is a driver. How long have you been driving now?
About a year, sir.
He's been driving about a year. Finding out some new things about driving now that you're on your own?
Yes, sir.
It is. It's a different experience. And it isn't wrong for you teenagers to admit that. Well, you know, it isn't automatic. It isn't easy. Do you have friends in your car when you're driving? No. Okay. Parents not approving of that? They're not happy about it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think more parents out there ought to realize a lot of parents don't approve of new teenage drivers having 4 or 5 of their friends in the car. Maybe one close friend. But 4 or 5 friends is another distraction. There's enough challenges with driving a vehicle without having a carload of friends. And it is not uncommon for parents to look at their sons and daughters and say, you're a new driver. I don't want you driving friends around for a year or 2 until you're comfortable. Now, as far as driving, some of the things that we were talking about, Eric and I kind of mentioned, if you run into a difficulty, you have to be aware that there's no way that you can understand what's going on in the minds of another driver. When you move in and out of traffic, if you upset another driver, sometimes teenagers think it's just going to go away, but it doesn't always go away. That other driver may have had a very bad day. Maybe they've lost their job. Maybe they're having trouble at home. You don't know what's going through their mind, but the fact is, you took cutting them off as insignificant. They took it very personally. If they're following you now, you need to go to a place where there's a lot of people, a public place. This person that's following you, and if you get the feeling they're following you, don't just shrug it off. And that goes for adult drivers as well, if you feel you're being followed. You go to a public place, you go to a well-lit place, all right? You can go to your home if you know somebody's there. But the fact is, don't assume that your driving actions just disappear after you move through that area. You cut a driver off, you drive irresponsibly, and you can upset another driver, and sometimes they will follow you. So keep your wits about you. Drive as safely and carefully as you can. Use common sense, all right? And that's what you're doing, Eric? I know you are. That's good. We're going to be back in a moment with some more safety and awareness information. All right, nice escape technique. She's safe, she's in the vehicle, she can leave now. Let's go in the studio and see what that looks like a little bit slower. Now we're in the studio. It's my martial arts studio, but we do our filming in the studio, so it's a TV studio right now. And I have the 2 individuals that did that scenario in the parking lot with us. Jeff, come on out here, and Amanda, come on out here, all right? And Jeff's not a bad guy, obviously. He was doing what we asked him to do. That scenario, being grabbed by the hair. When they grab you by the hair, you have to turn immediately. It's a difficult thing to do, but as long as they have your hair, they control your head. They control your head, they control your body. Wherever your hair goes, so goes your head, so goes your head, so goes the body. So she's going to turn immediately. She's going to entangle his hand in her hair, hold it tightly to her hair, and pivot low, stand up, which then torques his wrist. And it's going to lock his wrist up in his elbow and give her some control over where he is and what he's doing. For those few moments, he's in some level of discomfort. She now has the opportunity to strike to one of the vulnerable areas, which is the knee. This is one of the most vulnerable areas of your body, the knee, because it only bends one way. It only bends forward. It doesn't bend to the sides, and it doesn't bend backwards. Let's see that technique here in the training hall. Get a little closer, turn around. He grabs her hair. She locks it. Now, right there, she has locked his hand up. Kick, and let go, and move back. Let's do it one more time, a little faster. Here we go. She turns around. He grabs and turn and kick. Nicely done. We put the shield up to protect his knee. If you'll come in here and you come on right in here to protect his knee. As a matter of fact, I had to make his leg a little loose so it would fly back. That knee is going to take the impact. She's going to be able to get into that car, lock the doors, drive away, or be safe. All right? We're going to move on to another segment right now. Right now, we're going to cover some safety and awareness regarding an activity, a sport, horse riding. And I'm right here at Bennett's Riding Stable in Lake Luzerne, and I'm with Larry Bennett. It's a pleasure to be here again.
I welcome you back for another ride.
I love
and
that.
An opportunity to learn a few safety features while you're here.
Yep, and I know I've got a lot of people out there that are into horse riding and some that are going to get into horse riding. What are some of the things we want to look for and just be aware of regarding the saddle?
Well, there are an awful lot of features, but I know that you have a limited time today, so I'll just point out a couple of things. Certainly, the girth is one of the most important parts of your safety when you're riding. We maintain a double girth in order that you have greater contact, greater friction with the horse, and each of them then are drawn up to provide that grip that you need. And it provides for a safety for the horse as well, because it pulls it back away from his front legs so that it doesn't have that rub. And greater comfort for the horse too, since you have it distributed over two bands instead of just one.
And that's really got to cut back on that saddle sliding factor.
Oh,
too.
It does. It really does.
Good.
Provides for a good, secure saddle that keeps the person then safe throughout the ride.
Yep. And I see you have, it looks like two cushions. Two
yes,
blankets.
we use double pads, which provides further comfort for the horse. And in order that, again, that saddle is secure, the double cinches with the double pads make sure that you've got a good firm seat here.
Stirrup becomes a factor. They're adjustable for adults, but when we get into kids, I think you brought one of these here.
Yes, very important part of safety.
Yep.
That you would never turn the stirrup over
upside down just to
upside
make it
down
short.
in order to make it short, because that creates a very dangerous situation.
Okay.
So for those younger riders that we always hope to accommodate, we keep this type of equipment on hand. This allows for adjustment for the shorter leg length.
Yep.
And the tap provides for safety measure to keep that little foot from sliding on through the stirrup.
Sure.
And we can take people then in a safe manner, and
that's nice.
Whether they're riding Dozer or some other horse.
We're talking about safety.
Yes.
Now I've ridden a long time, for quite a few years, so I tend to ride with my cowboy hat. But this has become a real safety factor. And I think it's the law for 14 and under.
Yes, it is.
And I encourage it too. It's advisable if you're riding in a new place or you haven't ridden very much. This is worth doing. These have.
Oh, it absolutely is. They're all certified, and we change them periodically in order to meet the certifications.
Okay.
Let me show you how this works here.
Okay.
It's important that each one of them is adjusted so that it fits properly on the rider and is comfortable.
That feels very comfortable. That's nice.
And it does provide that measure of safety. Should, for any reason, you wind up down to the ground, you want to protect that head.
Yes, yep. And that makes a difference. That is worth doing. Now, the horse here this is Dozer, isn't it?
This is Dozer. He's been with us for 25 years, and we got him when he was 5, so it brings him up. He's reaching close to 30 now, but he's just been a superb animal for us.
He's super.
He's the one you're going to ride.
Oh, wonderful. I get to be on Dozer. I love that. Hi, baby. It has been a pleasure to be here today and out at Bennett's riding stable, and we're going to be back with more information right after this. Hi, on Cliff Notes today we are going to cover fire safety, and I have a special guest with me today. I have Chief Jeff Madden. It's a pleasure to have you here
Nice
today.
to see you, Cliff.
Wonderful. Talking about fire safety, all year round some people use different kinds of units, especially now with the crunch, with the energy crunch. People are getting into wood stoves, kerosene heaters, pellet stoves. What kind of things do we need to be concerned about?
Well, obviously the most important thing we want to worry about is proper installation and proper maintenance, because if you don't use it right or install it correctly, that's when you have a potential for a fire. And again, the maintenance is very important, especially with the chimney. You want to keep that clean.
Keep it clean. And we talked earlier about the fact that it's going to get hot. Let's keep an eye on the children.
Exactly.
Now, two important things that we can use in the house or take advantage of in the house for safety, and they are?
Smoke detectors and fire extinguishers.
All right.
Not to mention, you got to have a family escape plan and practice it.
All right. So smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. Smoke detector on every floor and closest to
the kitchen.
The
kitchen
kitchen.
is an important place,
Kitchen.
and your furnace.
All right, and the
Things
furnace.
that get hot.
All right, good. Now the escape plan is the last thing that you mentioned, and a lot of families never take the time to go through that, but we want to take time, whether it's at our place of work or our home, to figure out how we're going to get out if there's a problem.
Right. Plan your emergency exits and practice them.
Wonderful. That's our Cliff Notes for today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll be looking for you on our next show.